Hi everyone, I'm back with my next review. This is the Pasaana Speeder Chase, set 75250 with 373 pieces released, of course, in 2019, part of the Rise of Skywalker wave, and it cost 45 quid. I actually prefer this to the A-Wing quite a bit, I think, and yeah, I have a lot to say about this thing. First, we're going to start with the main, quote, Pasaana speeder, and then we'll take into the first order speeder, and I'll give you a look at the side build and then run you down with the figures. Say quote Pasaana speeder because, well, this thing, it hasn't really got a name. It's just an unnamed civilian speeder stroke skiff that the heroes use to escape the First Order. And, well, first of all, from an engineering sort of standpoint, I love the look of this thing. I think it's cooler than the, hot take, I know, I think it's cooler than the Return of the Jedi skiff. I just love the singular engine pod. That's one thing about Star Wars. It's very asymmetrical. If you look, there's usually like, three things in a row, then a gap and a rust streak and another thing, like... That's what Star Wars is all about. It's a used world, and I think that this thing really translates that. Now, note, this thing is very, very, very more lightly than the A-Wing, actually, but it is lightly modified. I did do just a very, very few things to this set. Very few things. Like a handful of pieces I just added on, because it really didn't need modding. Now, the sticker situation is a lot better, actually, than, well, than the A-Wing, because I feel like all the stickers that are included are, well, necessary, really. We have the sort of the main one down the front nose here with that sort of weathered paint, a few round either side, one sticker here for the little vein, like the front sort of engine intakes there, the sort of the grill, one on top here, and that's it. There's no other stickers in the set, and I feel like... Yeah, I feel like this is definitely appropriate. This is not tedious, it's not bad, it's not egregious. I think that it's fair, and I think they did a pretty good job with it this time around. The structure for this thing is incredibly simple. Again, it's literally just bricks, plates, a couple of little add-on sections. I mean, it's the most basic Lego thing you can get. They do have a very nice hovering effect. They don't do this with the First Order speeder. But there's these transparent 2x4 bricks on the bottom, the cylinder pieces on the bottom, just with some inverted tiles there, and they keep the ship with that very nice sort of hovering look. That's really important. I'm happy they included that. I'm just gonna grab Ray for a second. You can see sort of how a figure scales with this thing. But you have your sort of main control area here. This is sort of where, I mean, I don't know how boats work, but this is, I think, the same sort of thing as a boat, how you can like steer it. I think so. Anyway, it looks good. It's really nicely brick built. You have some space at the front. I will show you this ship, speeder does accommodate cargo. I will show you the cargo later. But there's a fair few figures you can get on this. There's a lot. If you look there, there's a lot of space. Available space. This is really, really good. It's not all just tiled off. There's a lot of little points where you can sort of attach figures in different ways. I'm just going to take you around the back. You can see the back view here. It still looks really nice from all angles. Maybe that's because I just appreciate sort of like engineering or like architecture, but it does look really clean. There's no like exposed colors or like exposed parts like that you don't want to see. I think everything's pretty well rounded off here. Now, the things I did mod, this is a civilian speeder, so it is unarmed. Lego, because it's, again, I mean, this is a system set, it has to accommodate collectors and kids, and so what Lego did is they put a stud shooter there. If you don't know what a stud shooter is, it's this little, like, it's this sort of big black gun that Lego just puts on the side of something. You can load a little stud in there and fire it off. I mean, from a, again, from a perfectionist standpoint, that is inaccurate. So I just removed the stud shooter. I added a red cheese slope in there instead, and it looks a lot cleaner how a civilian speeder would be. The other thing I've modded on the bottom, this was the one, I guess, rough area of the craft is there was these, because these are Technic bricks along the bottom here, and there was the exposed Technic holes. So I've just put some tiles over the top to really give it that clean sort of finished look. But as I said, a handful of pieces. There's like hardly any other mods have gone into. I mean, that's all of the mods, is just the stud shooter and the rounding off there, but I think it does look really, really clean. Now getting into the slightly stupid first order treadspeeder, and I say slightly stupid, again, I don't care about the Star Wars Disney Lucasfilm thing, I really do not care. This is Lego, and I'm going to base this on a Lego set standpoint. How good is the Lego model? How good does it look on a shelf? How accurate is it? All of that sort of stuff. I don't care about the actual design, but if you want to know why I think this is a little stupid, it's because, well, it's called the treadspeeder, because this thing has a tread. And in Star Wars, there's things called repulsor lifts, which are basically, you know, I mean, the Pasaana speeder has repulsor lifts. It allows it to float, and if you watch the film, this thing's quite slow. And yeah, I mean, also it's like not very I mean, if you think about it, like going over rocks and stuff, a speeder that hovers is going to be a lot more efficient than one that doesn't. So from a design standpoint in the Star Wars universe, this thing's kind of stupid. Getting into the actual design now, this thing's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate, and it's minifig scale. Both of these things are, you know, roughly minifig scale. It's again, just like the Pasaana speeder, it's an incredibly simple build. It's just Technic bricks, a few Technic beams there going out to the tread. Again, everything is based around the tread, and it's just bricks at the back. You can see this thing does accommodate two figures. That's always nice to see a bit more accuracy there. Now there is, if you actually see Rise of Skywalker, again, another stupid thing about the speeder is there's a whole like catapult at the back. Essentially the jet trooper will be flung off the back and he'll fly up. Lego doesn't have that here. They don't have that, but again, I mean, that's stupid because my man literally, he has a jetpack. He should just be able to fly up. But yeah, again, in terms of a sort of functionality standpoint, that's a tiny sort of inaccuracy there. But again, for something this size, that's essentially a side build to a set, that's not necessary. But both figures will fit. The pilot just has a joystick there, no controls. It's not really that necessary. Just a few more things. It can pivot. I like how it can pivot. So it can bank as it goes around corners. There is the nice little exhaust pipe at the back. Some nice parts of this set. Nice detailing. Now the mods, just real quick, the only mods I've done with this thing are these two pieces on the front. The original set looks like that. That is the original Lego treadspeeder. And if you look at the actual treadspeeder, well, it's got a whole front hood. So all I did is just, and this is actually, it looks much, much more accurate. I just completed the front hood. I wanted a nice, one thing we talk about in Lego is the ratio between tiles and studs. If it's got too many tiles in an area, it looks funky. If it's got too many studs in one area, it looks funky. So I added a nice distribution that I think works, and I think it looks a lot better. Now this can flip up. I don't know why you'd want to flip it up. There's no, like, I would think, like, maybe you could, like, squeeze in some weapon storage. There is, unfortunately, no weapon storage for your pilot. That would have been nice to see. But I guess it's just part of the build. It just clicks on. And as you notice, well, I've left the stud shooters in. These are the stud shooters that we've talked about. If you click this, it'll fire off. I think it looks cool with the stud shooters in. I've tried removing them. Obviously, this isn't accurate. There are no, like, grenade launchers on the side of this thing. It's just what Lego adds in. So you have the actual cannons for displayability, and you have your actual firing functional cannons that are sort of like make-believe added on to the design for kids. But I've left them in there because I think they look fine. Now I've taken you through both of the main attributes to this set. Well, desirable attributes, I should say. And there's a very good reason for that, alright, because this set costs 45 quid, and if you think about it, it doesn't matter if you're a parent or a collector or whoever, what are you buying this set for? You're buying it for the Pasaana speeder chase. The two speeders, they're from the same scene. I mean, again, it's a chase. They look good on a shelf next to each other, and they fit together, and they deserve to be in a set together. You know, two sort of small speeder builds. Well, Lego has a rule where they have, 10 cents or 10p per Lego piece to make up a set. And this is a build that no one wants. I call these unnecessary side builds because LEGO does this a lot. There's one, again, actually, conveniently, there's one in the 2017 A-Wing. There's one, I mean, they do it in lots of Rebel sets. There's one in the 2017 Y-Wing as well. They always throw in this little side build that you think you want or might add to a diorama, but it just ends up filling a gap that a set or a better thing that a set could contain, and it jacks up the price, and that's my main problem with this thing. Saying that though, this thing does actually serve a purpose. I did mention earlier that the Pasaana speeder can hold cargo, and well, you have two little boxes here, and these will go on your Pasaana speeder. I will show you that later. Ooh, sorry for knocking the camera there, but yeah, this rest of this build, I mean, it's completely worthless. Getting back to the Pasaana speeder, yes, I did say I'll show you the cargo. This bigger box, now first of all, the contents of this, you have like this chainsaw build, you have this LEGO black shovel, and you have a grapple hook, but it has no line, so it's just a hook without a line. It's kind of weird, but yeah, these three go on the back. So you have this crate on the back, and then you have this crate that has nothing in it. This crate just sort of slides into the front. And that's the cargo on the Pasaana speeder. It's still a lot of space for figures, which is nice, but yeah, I mean, they could have just included the boxes, right, that you can take on and off. They didn't need a whole stand to put the boxes on, like glorified boxes. Now I've taken you through most of what this set has to offer, and of course all that's left to do now is talk about the minifigs. Our first figure here is just one of my favourites. Again, I don't care about characters. This is not about Rey as a character. This is about LEGO Rise of Skywalker minifigure Rey, and she's absolutely beautiful. This is, I'm gonna say it's in my top 20 of favourite LEGO Star Wars minifigs. I love the use of colouring. The white and the brown and the blue of the saber, I mean, they just work, right? It just, the whole thing, the whole picture just works. And again, LEGO has just gone all out. They have not sort of cheapened out here with their printing. They have a very nice fluid. I mean, if you look at the hip piece and the legs, it works, and it just goes down. It looks really, really good. The other parts of Rey, the hair and the face, this is one thing that I didn't really like, is that they have been using the same Rey headpiece since Force Awakens, and of course this is Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, they've never ever changed her face. She has that same piece, but the hair, again, the hairpiece is really nice. It is Rey's alternate expression. As you can see, it's sort of like a little bit of a frown. You can also, now that the hair's removed, you can see the back print a lot better. She does have a hood. I would actually quite like LEGO to like include a hood on a figure. But this is fine, and yeah, Rey looks good. I mean, she's definitely the best figure of this set in my eye. Now, getting into the second figure, we have the First Order treadspeeder pilot. And you're probably wondering, well, this just looks like a First Order Stormtrooper. Well, he does have, to this set, an exclusive torso and leg piece. They are different. The leg piece has like these thin lines going up. He has different knee pads, if you look at his knees, different knee pads. And the torso, he has this sort of like Arabic text going along the front, and he also has that red mark to, I guess, signify that he's a treadspeeder pilot. The back printing is, I mean, I'm going to skim over this figure. This is pretty much just your generic First Order Stormtrooper, right, with some minor changes. The back printing, it's like any other First Order Stormtrooper. The front is nice. He comes with this small little blaster pistol, and he does have that Last Jedi stroke Rise of Skywalker helmet printing. It does look really clean. Removing that helmet will show the angry clone face, of course. The classic angry clone they introduced. I want to say 2013, or like somewhere 2012, 2013. Anything post Clone Wars, they've just been using this guy just for your generic sort of infantry army soldier face, but they have recently changed it. They no longer use Angry Clone or their Imperial stroke First Order figures, which is a nice improvement. But yeah, this guy, besides BB-8, he's probably the worst figure of this set. He's alright, but he's just kind of mid. Into a pretty cool figure. This is the First Order Jet Trooper. He is really, really cool, actually. He has that sort of... It's not the same, by the way, but it is sort of that red marking the Arabesh. With a really cool sort of like armoured front, nice legs. I think they are just generic First Order legs, nothing too special there. He has a really nice jetpack, I think, for this figure. This is a new jetpack mould, I think it is. But it looks really, really good. It has a 1x1 tile, printed tile on the back there. That comes off, you actually attach that in. But yeah, it looks really, really nice. Now, removing the helmet and the jetpack. Again, you can see it's the generic angry clone. And on the back side, we have some decent printing, yeah. I mean, again, this is one of those instances where LEGO just didn't need to do this. I mean, he is a jet trooper. He's pretty much always going to have his jetpack on. But yeah, I mean, it's just nice to see LEGO go the extra mile again. Note, this guy is not... he is an exclusive figure. This is the only set this figure comes in, but in terms of the moulding for the helmet and the jetpack, this figure gets a red version that features in the Sith Trooper Battle Pack of Wave 2 of Rise of Skywalker sets. So, in terms of like the helmet mold, it's not exclusive, but this coloration, the white colouring is. On to the final figure of this set, and I'm just gonna breeze over this little guy because we've seen him since 2015. I mean, the amount of sets that BB-8 has been in, I can't even count anymore. But if you're not familiar with BB-8, this was originally 2 exclusive molds. Obviously, they've been remade and remade and remade now. There are 2 little elements that make up BB-8. A slight little inaccuracy at the bottom there. That bit is essentially just so he can be attached to studs. Otherwise, he just wouldn't be able to attach to a surface. So it is an unnecessary sort of Legoification that they had to make. But he is a nice figure, and, you know, it's one of those things. I would have preferred another figure. I would have preferred Poe or Finn or Chewie or someone else other than this guy, but I'm not complaining. There's nothing to complain about. It's BB-8. He's bread and butter for sequel trilogy. He's been in everything. Pretty standard. But that's it. That's the Pasaana Speeder Chase, and now I'm going to get into my final thoughts, because I spoke earlier about restructuring this thing, and I do hold that, because if you watch the scene from the film, there are 2 of these speeders. They are different. One is sort of like blue and triangular, and then we have this red one. There are 2 hero speeders that make up the chase, being chased by the First Order. Again, this set is 45 quid, and if you haven't figured it out, I do not think this set is worth 45 quid. Obviously, this thing came out in 2019, and on the secondary market, this thing's gonna run you only about 50 to 55 quid. It's not obviously a big pricing fluctuation at all, and that's because this set just isn't really desirable. Essentially, this set is from a forgettable scene from a regrettable film. It's not the best sort of iconic build or a valuable build. And I only really recommend this set to you if either you can get it cheap, you like some of these figures, or you just think the design is super cool. How I think they should have restructured this set to actually make it worth the money. First of all, let's just get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And what I would have done is I would have had... It's okay to have 1 First Order treadspeeder. Obviously in the film there's like 5, 6, 7 of these things. You're not going to have that in a product. 1 First Order treadspeeder, both of the hero speeders, and then I would have made this set 50 quid. I think that is such a better deal. You're getting both speeders, and obviously we would have more figures. We would have, on the other speeder, we have like Poe and like Chewie. This is the way LEGO's chosen to do it. Can't change the past. This is not a set that I don't think is going to ever get a remake. I think this thing has just been made and it's never going to be remade ever again. If you want it, get it. Out of 10, my rating out of 10, this thing's going to get a 6. I think that's the same score as the A-Wing. Again, I love the look of this. I love the look of this, but it's not just about the design, it's about the Lego set as a whole. This thing was overpriced, and again, it's quite forgettable, not very valuable, and in terms of the figures, that none of them are particularly valuable or expensive. Yeah, that's it. Thank you all for watching another one of these reviews. Next video, we will be taking it back to 20th anniversary. We're going to be taking a look at the Imperial Dropship. I'm super excited for that one. That's a great set. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope things are improving. I'm getting a bit more used to this thing. But yeah, I'm actually enjoying making these, so I'm going to definitely keep doing it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.